What's up guys, Ninth Jim here, back with another VGC 2020 Pokemon Sword and Shield competitive video. Today we're talking about Gmax Hatterene, another new Gmax that has been introduced with Season 3 starting March 1st. And this Pokemon is really interesting. It saw a lot of play at the beginning of the format, or at the beginning of the of Sword and Shield as a whole, being paired with that Indeedee, giving you really good psychic terrain, buffing all of your moves, and then also giving you follow me access so that you can set off your Trick Room without a hitch a lot more frequently. Kind of fell off of grace because of Pokemon like Duraludon having Stalwart, getting through that fairy, or getting through that follow me and hitting super effective damage into Hatterene. However, then the Pokemon adapted a little bit, getting Babbery Berry, giving it that ability to survive turn 1 and then set the Trick Room and then come in hitting really hard attacks right off the bat, which is really good. And that's what we're doing with this Pokemon. We're setting Trick Room and then attacking really hard, and that's really all it is to this Pokemon. So we're gonna jump into it. So Psychic Fairy, giving us that immunity to Dragon, is really solid. Resistances to Fighting and Psychic is pretty solid as well. And then weaknesses to Poison, Ghost, Steel. Steel is pretty scary, you know, so we're running that Babbery Berry to help us out. And then Ghost and Poison are, you know, a little bit less scary, but still very relevant. You know, Ghost especially more than Poison. Ghost being pretty frequent in the meta. You know, things like Jellicent, Dragapult, Mimikyu. A bunch of Pokemon have that Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, Phantom Force kind of attack, and that's pretty unfortunate for us. However, pretty solid typing overall. Oop, sorry if that made a lot of noise. Anyway, into our stats. So 29 speed is really good for a Trick Room Pokemon, hitting that 30 base speed, or 30 speed after 0 investments and the hindering nature, giving us a really good speed for Trick Room is really good. And then our defenses are pretty solid across the board except for our HP. HP is 57, not amazing, but 95 defense and 103 special defense is pretty solid. And then maxing out our HP and then Dynamaxing or Gigantamaxing gives us probably pretty solid HP, you know, just over 300, and able to live a good bit of attacks, which is really good. And being Trick Room, we attack before most things, so we're looking pretty good there. Into our special attack, we're at 136. That's pretty solid. 90 attack kind of sucks, but 136 special attack is really good, and that's what we're leaning into with special attack and HP. We don't want to go speed because we want to be as slow as possible, so that's what it is. Alright, anyway, into the actual build itself. So we're talking about Magic Bounce as our ability. It's really good. It reflects back a bunch of certain status category moves, things like Will-O-Wisp, Thunder Wave. Nobody's going to Will-O-Wisp you, but Thunder Wave, and things like Taunt, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot of good moves here. Magic Bounce reflects a lot of good moves. Of course, Entry Hazard moves, which is really good. Moves that restrict you, Taunt and Torment, a bunch of stuff like that back to the user. It doesn't even just negate it. It reflects it back to the user, which is really good. Makes it really good for setting up, or for stopping Entry Hazards in Pokemon in singles, which we do have a single spotlight for, and then in VGC it's really good for, you know, things like the Taunt and status and inducing moves. Anyway, we also have item Babbery Berry. You can definitely opt to use Life Orb. However, I am just respecting that Duraludon and things like Excadrill, you know, just hitting really hard steel type moves. Durant, a bunch of Pokemon can hit really hard into our Hatterene, mostly the Duraludon, since it gets to follow me from Indeedee, and makes it really hard. So Babbery Berry is pretty good, and once we Gigantamax, ain't no problem. But Duraludon is a bit of a problem, and you know, that's something that I really should have put in my Dynamax, or in my damage calcs, and we'll talk about that. We'll worry about that in a bit here. Anyway, for the rest of the build, for our attacks, we have Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, Trick Room, and Protect. I value that Protect on here. We don't have to. You can definitely switch that out for something like Mystical Fire, Giga Drain, Shadow Ball, another coverage move, or even the Calm Mind. There, all the attacks right there. All of those are pretty solid. You know, Calm Mind giving you that extra buffer turn where you get more special attack and more special defense. Let you live a little bit better. And if your Indeedee can live for a little while and set up Follow Me for your turn 1 Trick Room, and then set up Follow Me for your turn 2 Calm Mind, turn 3 you can Gigantamax and just do heaps of damage across the board, which is really good. Although unfortunately, if you Gigantamax, you won't have any multi-targeting moves, which is unfortunate. But our Gmax attack is really good. Gmax Smite, it does it's fairy. It does our very high damaging fairy attack, and it also confuses both opposing Pokemon, which is really, really strong. And I think this is definitely, hopefully going to resurge this Pokemon a little bit more back into the meta. It was so big at the beginning of the meta, and now it's just fallen off, and we want to see it back in the meta again. So, anyway, into the rest of our moveset, Dazzling Gleam and Psychic are just for our stab moves. We can definitely add Mystical Fire or any of those other moves there right above me into our set in place of our Protect, but I think Trick Room, Dazzling Gleam, and Psychic should come standard to this build, in my opinion. And then as far as our stats go, we're at 252 max invested into HP and 252 max invested into Special Attack, with that Quiet Nature giving us plus to Special Attack and minus to Speed, so that we're as slow as possible. And of course we have our Speed tiers here. In a few moments we're going to talk about some synergetic Pokemon first. So we have Indeedee, giving us that Follow Me, like I said, to help get Trick Room to resolve, and then it also sets Psychic Terrain, which gets rid of the priority moves, as well as boosting all of our psychic attacks 50%, which is really, really good. And then we also have Torkoal, which is a non-Dynamaxing, really good under Trick Room Pokemon. Same with the Gastrodon, and Mudsdale can be great even not Dynamaxing under Trick Room. All of these Pokemon just work really well under Trick Room and don't have to Dynamax to be good, and that's kind of one of the main things we're looking for here with this Pokemon. Killing our Indeedee with Follow Me, and then bringing in another Pokemon that's really good under Trick Room, and then just sweeping with, like maybe Torkoal Eruption with Hatterene, just confusing anything. It looks really good on paper, so that's a good thing. And then Pokemon that kind of scare us is Tyranitar, Excadrill, and Duraludon. Duraludon is the biggest one, actually, and I would like to... Duraludon maxed Flash Cannon. Max Flash Cannon really isn't doing that much through Babbery, so we're looking pretty solid, honestly. Yeah, looking pretty solid. That's going to make us live that attack turn 1, and then turn 2 we have Trick Room set up, and we're looking pretty good. So Duraludon we can manage. It's still a little hard. And then Excadrill, Tyranitar, with both of them being able to use multi-targeted move, getting through that Follow Me is a bit problematic, but it happens. Anyway, that's going to be it for our build. We're going to go ahead and jump into our speed tiers here. So speed tiers are pretty basic, Trick Room speed tiers here. So we're at 30, Hindering Nature. Min speed, lowest speed we can possibly have with Hatterene is 30. Only things that outspeed us after Trick Room is set is Dusclops, which we should figure, and then Torkoal, Ferrothorn, the slowest Metamons in the game, in my opinion. We still have things like Pinsirchin under that, but come on, who's using that Pokemon? Maybe with Alolan Raichu, but I don't know if we can use Alolan Raichu. Probably not, since you can't breed it. Anyway, things that do outspeed us initially, but we outspeed after Trick Room, is Snorlax, Runerigus, Reuniclus. These Pokemon are really powerful. More so Reuniclus has very high attack power and gets the benefit from that Psychic Terrain, which is pretty annoying. And then Runerigus gets that Shadow Claw. I think maybe Shadow Ball. I'm not sure if it's physical or special, but it has super effective spread against us. And then Snorlax isn't too much of a problem, but it can curse under our speed, and it can also just be problematic with Gigantamaxing. And then we also have Bronzong at 34, setting Trick Room. Gyro Ball won't do too much damage because we're slower than it. It'll still do like a solid chunk, but not very much. And then Mudsdale, Heavy Slam could do a good bit of damage. Gastrodon and Rhyperior are slightly problematic, but not too problematic. Both of them we can deal with, and we're faster than them after Trick Room is set, which is pretty good as well. That's pretty much it for our speed tiers. They're pretty simple, Speed tiers for Trick Room Pokemon are pretty set. Pretty easy to know. Anyway, into our damage calcs, we have our first one is Dynamax, Excadrill max Steel Spike with Life Orb, and Adamant Nature max invested. And to us is a guaranteed 2-hit KO because of Babbery. It only does 51 to 60%, and then the second attack will do a lot more because Babbery will be gone. And then same with Durant, it's very similar, doing 60 to 71% with Life Orb, Hustle, max Steel Spike, doing just a little bit more damage, but not enough to kill us through Babbery, which is really good. And then our attack, our max Starfall, or max Smite, if we G-max, will be doing 97 to 115% damage into a Dragapult Dynamax, giving us that 81.3% chance to OHKO, which is very good. And after we set Trick Room, we're actually outspeeding Dragapult, which is very, very powerful. Obviously, we would be outspeeding Dragapult once we set Trick Room, but, And then Dynamaxed Dragapult Max Phantasm into us only does 66 to 78%. So even if this is after Trick Room is set, or even if this is after Trick Room is gone, we still live and then return Oko. So we should win the Dragapult encounter, 90% of the time at least, which is really, really high. And then we also have Max Starfall into the Dynamaxed Tyranitar in Sand, doing 47 to 56%. A very high chance to 2-hit KO, which is really, really good. And then we also have our last calc here is 252 plus Max Special Attack Hatterene, Max Starfall, or Max Smite into that Grimmsnarl with that 252 HP and 4 Special Defense. This is a defense bulky spread Grimmsnarl, hitting 155 to 184. We won't be able to kill it through Light Screen. However, we will be able to kill it without any screens, which is really strong. We can hit that switch in. If we are expecting Grimmsnarl to switch in, we can just kill it right off the bat, which is very, very good. On to our last slide here, Single Spotlight. Moving along a little faster today. So, in singles, we're doing almost the exact same thing, except instead of Protect, we're putting on that extra attack, Mystical Fire. You can definitely do this for VGC as well, or in singles. You can do this either way, but I like this definitely here because Protect just genuinely isn't that good. Generally is not that good. And when we max, we have Trick Room to give us max guard. This is another reason you don't have to run it on the double set as well, but I ran it. You don't have to. We may not as it goes on, but yeah, for now, it's very, very similar, running that Magic Bounce. We're giving it a Life Orb instead of Babiri Berry. You can definitely go either way, but we just want to do as much damage as possible with Hatterene, set Trick Room, deal a lot of damage with G-Max, same spread across the board with Special Attack and HP both max invested, Dazzling Gleam, Psychic, and Trick Room. The only difference is that Mystical Fire instead of Protect. And this Pokemon works pretty well on a Trick Room savvy team in doubles and singles. So anyway, that's going to be about it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. G-Max Hatterene, I expect to pick up some speed, definitely get played again, maybe not as much as it did at the beginning of the format with Hatterene and Didi. However, I still expect to see it played in high level play and even just casuals and lower tier events, and I'm excited for it. I think G-Max Smite is very promising and very powerful as well. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a like and subscribe. It means a lot to me. And if you haven't gone to the giveaway yet, go a few videos back on my channel. There's a giveaway. Once we hit 1,000 subscribers, I'm giving out one of the Funko Pops. I think I still have them right there. Oh. No, I don't. Oh well, they're somewhere. Anyway, one of the 3 Funko Pops, all you gotta do is like, be subscribed to the channel, like that video, the giveaway video, and then subscribe, and then comment down below on that video which one of them you want, and it means a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, and goodbye.